Yeah, I'd like to present an interesting paper about the effect of Rhodiola Rosea supplementation on depression, anxiety, and mood. It's a systematic review by Konstantinos Fanaras with my support. I'm editor of Global Psychiatry and professor of psychiatry. So up to now, this herb, Rhodiola Rosea, has been used in Chinese and Russian medicine against depression, anxiety, mental and physical fatigue, and to promote overall health. So this was a PubMed based systematic review, and the search criteria were the intervention should contain Rhodiola Rosea extracts. It must examine the effect of the intervention on depression and mood. It should be a randomized clinical trial and should be published in English or Greek. And there shouldn't be any combination with other medications to make sure that this is just the effect of this herb. Right. So in total, or maybe before I go through this, different mechanisms of Rhodiola Rosea has been proposed. Increase of heat shock protein, and this heat shock protein then inhibits the stress-induced expression of nitric oxide genes. It increases the ATP production, repairs damage from stress proteins, and inhibits the release of June amino terminal kinase. The other proposals were that it decreases the stress-activated protein kinase or this June amino terminal kinase. It increases ATP production, decreases corticotropin-releasing hormones, cortisol secretion, and thus reduces the stress reaction. And it then blocks the cortisol-induced suppression of the immune system. It has been said by others that it increases neuropeptide Y and then inhibits cortisol creation, inhibits pro-inflammatory cytokinin, interleukin 1B, promotes ATP synthesis. Others say it increases the brain-derived neurotrophic factors and thus protects neurons from stress and encourages growth of new neurons. Have been proposed it inhibits monoamino oxidase A and monoaminoxidase B receptors, so then increasing dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. And others say, or Lishmanov says, it increases beta endorphin and then this reduces the stress response. Others said it directly stimulates noradrenaline, serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine receptors. Maybe it's a mixture of everything of these reactions. And there were studies which were included. Initially, we found 39 studies, but after looking at the full text and taking out studies which looked at other things such as fatigue, exercise performance, or other stress-related fatigue, we found finally 5 studies which just focused on mood, depression, and anxiety. And the results are quite impressive. The studies are quite good, by the way. This is showing how little bias. Green is little bias, and red is some bias, and some questionable bias. If you want to look at this, just look at the paper, which is published in www.globalpsychiatry.co.uk. And so the findings are quite consistent. What you can see is that there is consistent reduction of the Hamilton Depression Scale. There is reduction in the anxiety scale. And this is summarized here in this table. Sadly, it's I call it landscape shaped, and you can't read it properly, but I can tell you that in all these 5 studies, there's a consistent positive effect of Rhodiola Rosea supplementation. Right, so it's quite interesting. Let's say it that way, because only there are a couple of, or 100, 350, about 350 people who have been included in the study. These studies are not 100% supportive, even though all these studies were randomized clinical trials. But on the other hand, it really deserves further investigation. I hope you enjoyed this snippet of research. If you want to read the paper, www.globalpsychiatry.co.uk. And if you want to have more information about research we published and on other research, then please subscribe to our website and then enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks a lot, and I hope you will be interested in future. This is a really interesting study, and I think you can just take this forward.